Hi guys, this is Stan. Huge welcome if you're new here. I can't believe I still got my voice after going for the Lady Gaga's Mayhem Ball in London. Still a very surreal experience, but never mind, we're here for the September reading wrap-up. September was a wild month of reading, not just in terms of the books I was reading, but also I need to tackle the Magical Readathon and my calling is Tomebinder. To be fair, some of the prompts are quite tough, from counting the number of letters in the title to, let's say, roll a dice for my TBR. Honestly, I didn't even know could I make it or not. But along the way, I managed to pick up one of my most anticipated release of the year, a martial art inspired YA back to my favorite fantasy world and also one of the classic of cozy fantasy. So how was my reading and could I find any 5-star books in September? Let's find it out together. So the very first book I read in September is the anticipated release of the year because I can't wait. I read most of the works by this author and I adore them all. And this book is also used for the Magical Readathon. I need to be qualified in inscription and the prompt is archiving vertical spine title. So I pick up this one, Katabasis by RF Kuang. As you can see, the title is vertically printed. Katabasis is Kuang's latest dark academia work with certain level of horror element. This time we are following a PhD student in Cambridge in the 1980s called Alice Law. After the death of her professor, she fears that she could lose this powerful social network, so she decided to make a very risky decision to go to hell and retrieve his soul. She was forced to navigate the dangerous landscape of the hell with her long-term nemesis in Cambridge called Peter. This is a story about Alice's experience in Cambridge with Professor Grime, her adventure with Peter in hell, and finally confronting her own fears. RF Kuang never disappoint me. The first thing I love about Katabasis is how Kuang incorporates different academic and cultural references to her own story. Western philosopher or poets, we got Aristotle, Socrates, and Dante. And for Chinese cultural references, we got the weaving girl. These references were woven deeply into the world building, the setting of hell, and let's say the magic system like the chalk diagram or paradoxes. Sometimes our characters would even banter with what they think about certain philosophies, so I think this kind of arrangement is really interesting and entertaining. Also, if you have read Babel, another dark academia work by Kuang, you would remember in the bottom of the page, you will see quite a lot of footnotes. In Katabasis, Kuang get rid of this arrangement. All this kind of like special world building or the explanation of the magic system were integrated into dedicated chapters. Not delicate, dedicated. So in a way, it makes the throw more accessible. You don't need to keep referring back to the footnotes to get a full picture of what is going on. And if we are looking at the characters, I think Kuang is really good at writing complicated, flawed ones. You can sort of see the similarity between Alice Law in Katabasis and Rin from the Poppy War. They both share this kind of unstable mental state due to the external pressure and driven by unexplainable obsession. But when we are reaching the last 20% of the story, I just find the pacing is significantly faster than before. It is almost like, hey, we need to settle this problem quickly now. Maybe it could be down to the mental state of Alex at that time, and I also found the ending quite clever, successfully tying up all these threads and force Alice to confront her fear, past choices, and sacrifices. It is a really powerful reflection of her own journey in hell. I know that with Kuang's own reputation and all the reviews on Goodreads or Reddit, you may think this book could get quite academic, but to me the point here is just keep your mind open. don't be intimidated by knowledge itself. If you are a bit scared to pick this book up, I would say just try out this kind of academic background, combining with the magic system or the world building. Let's see, would you enjoy this writing style, rather than saying to yourself, no, I don't like knowledge, I don't like things being too academical, and then stop reading it. If you like it, great. If you don't, just put it down. Not a big deal. All in all, another strong work from RF Kuang. I always adore her works, and especially when you finish her books, you would live with this kind of sense of emptiness to leave you think about this book. I'm looking forward to see what RF Kuang could bring next. Currently, I rate this one as a 4-star, potentially a 5-star if I sleep on it more. After finishing Katabasis, I need to approach possibly one of the hardest prompts in this magical readathon. To be ordinary in inscription, I need to pass Magic of Prime first, meaning that the number of letters in the book that you're going to read is in prime number. I have literally tried out every book on my physical TBR and none of them can fulfill it. If you don't trust me, you can try it out now. Just try to pick a book close to you and see how many letters are in the title. Prime numbers mean 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, etc. and etc. Let me know how many of you can quickly come up with one book. I try mine, you can see how full my shelves are. None. But thanks to your recommendation, and funny enough, it is not from the Magical Readathon announcement, but from a rec that I got from the Fantasy Reddit Bingo, I can finally fulfill this prompt. And the book I pick up is Breath of the Dragon by Shannon Lee and Fonda Lee. The vibe of this book is totally different from Katabasis because this one is a YA martial art inspired fantasy. Funny story here, of course I know who Fonda Lee is, the writer of the Greenbone Saga. But who is Shannon Lee? So I dig up some information about her and turns out she is actually the only living child of one and the only Bruce Lee. Mind blown. That's why from the name of the characters or the weapons they're gonna choose, you can really see the shadow of this great martial artist, Bruce Lee. Okay, back to the story. It is about June, whose twin brother is being taken away by the Empire of being a breath mark, basically a magic wielder. June at the time was still young and really close to her brother. He is also a troubled kid, so it leads up to the exile of him and his father. Quickly 10 years later, June wanted to become the protector of the realm in the West by winning a tournament so that he can restore his family glory. But what he didn't know is a bigger political conspiracy is being planted, which could threaten the order of the West, where June is currently living, and the East, where June was originally from. As you can see, this book is co-written by two authors, so you can really see the strength of both of them. Greenbone Saga is one of my favorite fantasy series, and the long-term character arc is the reason why. So putting that sort of framework into Breath of the Dragon, you can still see how Fonda Lee tried to create some drama that force our characters to grow. As a child of Bruce Lee, Shannon Lee also was trained in martial art, so you can already imagine the action sequences in this book is really good. From the choice of the weapons or like the combat style, they are all executed real good. But I am not too sure, is it because it is set in a YA world? I felt a bit of a lackluster. The world building itself is really direct to you, almost like throwing it straight to your face, and I also hope that there could be some more depth to the plot. Maybe because the pacing of this book is extremely fast and sometimes could get convenient, so you will feel everything happen to your face just like flyby. And I also hope that there could be a greater emotional payoff from all the things that young June had gone through. At last, I gave this one a 3-star. Maybe because I saw this one is written by Fonda Lee and I got my own expectation in my mind, so I was a bit let down by it. This series is a duology, so in the future, if there's any sequel coming out, I would still be interested in it. So for the next prompt, I would say I am a bit unlucky. To pass ordinary in spells and incarnation, I need to practice charm luck. to roll the dice to see how many pages I need to read. Unfortunately, it is the largest, 6, and very luckily I found a book that could fit in this range, and it is The Knights of Erador by Philip C. Quaintrell, the 7th book of the Echo Saga. Philip C. Quaintrell. If you don't know, this is a series that I hope I can finish by the end of the year, and we are so close to the ending. It is also the first book of the last trilogy in this saga. This last trilogy was set 15 years after the second one. Further, this world seems to be at peace, but the relationship between each kingdom is still fragile. We will follow more or less the same cast of characters since the very beginning, and they will deal with politics, secret talks, draft politics, and later uncovering a bigger political conspiracy that threaten their hard-earned peace. I always enjoy jumping back to this world and check out how our characters are doing. I mean, we are 7 books into this series, and this series is only 9 books long. You can't not love the characters, right? Once again, I love the intricate world building of this series. All the threads we have in the very beginning will slowly come together. We are following quite a lot of characters in this series, and how their individual arcs coming together to build up for the later events are also quite systematic. But if I need to be really picky here, I think the setup of the last trilogy is quite similar to the second one. This kind of hopelessness that provides everything is on the brink of being destroyed is something that I have already experienced in the second trilogy. Also, the biggest twist in this book, if you pay slightly more attention to the details, you wouldn't be too surprised by it. As for the ending, we know that we are facing such a massive crisis, and to me as an outsider, as a reader, I think we should use whatever way we can to solve this problem. But the ending is a bit stupid to me because of some questionable reckless decision made by certain characters. When you need to play safe, you make crazy decision, but when you need to make a very critical decision, you hesitate. This is how I felt about the ending of this book. This one is a weaker opening for a new trilogy, and I just hope that it could be more consistent like the second trilogy. So this one is like a marginal 4-star to me. I also looked up some reviews or ratings on Goodreads for the next book. Gosh, it's going to be a tough one. The final one for me as a Tomebinder is to be ordinary in the art of illusion, and the prompt is called Biome Manipulation. I need to read a book that is optimal, no matter it is the cover or the story itself. So here I chose Legends Lattes by Travis Baldree. I mean, who doesn't want to read a cozy fantasy in autumn? I don't know about you guys, when we are in the spring or summer, we would, or at least me, don't really want to read any cozy fantasy. But when the days start to get shorter and getting colder, you just want to read something easier. I had quite a high hope for this one because I mean this could possibly be the very first cozy fantasy. This is a D&D inspired fantasy which we follow an orc called Thief who wanna retire from her long-time adventure and set up a cafe in an area that is not too familiar with this kind of cafe. So in this book, we will follow her step-by-step journey of starting this business, from building the cafe, recruiting staff, marketing, or designing a menu. As you can tell at this point, my TBR of this month is filled with quite a lot of high-stake adventure. So coming to Legends Lattes, I quite enjoy this kind of cozy vibe, and it is such a good palate cleanser. I enjoy meeting this kind of new faces, these lovely characters, and how their relationship being developed. Maybe because of the hype it got 3 years ago, and so my expectation was raised to another level. I just felt the plot is a bit flat. How the plot expands is like a restaurant simulator where we got a cycle of tasks to be fulfilled every time. So for the first 40% of the story, we will keep seeing our characters trying to come up with something new on the menu, no matter it is drinks or food, trying to find some special herbs for this special pastry. Yes, from the beginning, we know that it is going to be a story about Thief's retirement. But how the plot expands just miss a bit of a focus, and all the potential threats we may have just got settled really quickly. So you can say on one side, I enjoy this kind of laid-back vibe, but on the other side, I can say it is boring. As for the characters, I didn't expect we would meet that many of them, but I just find they are not well developed. How easily Fifth say goodbye to her old crew, but when she is in danger, they got your back immediately. How Fifth tries so hard to hide the secret, but look at how it ends. I think all these stakes that the author want to introduce, or like the backstories of the characters, could be handled so much better. I just wish there could be some more depth to the plot and the characters. Maybe time flies, we now got so many more cozy fantasy because of its success and I tried some of them. Coming back to Legends Lattes, such a popular book at that time, I just think my expectation didn't meet. So unfortunately, I have to give this one a 2-star and probably won't check out any work in this series. So that is pretty much for my September Magical Readathon wrap-up. I successfully complete all the prompts for Tomebinder, even for the Cursed Magic of Prime, and I have got such a mixed bag of reading in September. From RF Kuang's brilliant and haunting Katabasis to the return of my favorite fantasy world, and even a disappointment of Legends and Lattes. It just reminds me how wide and unpredictable fantasy could be. But that is also the reason why I love doing this kind of challenges, to really push myself out of my comfort zone. You can really see the TBR of this month is quite different from usual, and sometimes it could even surprise me. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What's your best read in September? And if you're like me participating in the Magical Readathon, which prompt do you think is the hardest? Is it going to be Magic of Prime 2? So you can share all your thoughts in the comment below. So thank you for watching, guys. If you don't want to miss out any fantasy TBR wrap-up like this one, reading vlog, or any other fun bookish ideas, don't forget to like this video and subscribe my channel. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.